Robbie, welcome.
Hello.
And I just wanted to ask you, what has your history been with the Ojai Playwrights Conference?
I first came to Ojai Playwrights Conference in 2002 with a play called The Paris Letter, its first rough draft. And I fell in love with the process, but my history, of course, goes back to working with you at the beginning of my career, and then throughout my entire, I hate the word career, through my life as a playwright. So it goes way, way back, and Ojai was continuation and semi-culmination of a really great collaboration. I walked into a place I felt instantly comfortable at, and then I've been back many times with the following plays. Did Paris Letter, we did Other Desert Cities there, and then we did Vicuña there, which you and I then did at the Kirk Douglas, and then in Washington, D.C. at Mosaic. And on we go from there. That's a lot of plays over the years together.
No, it's been one of my most treasured and cherished relationships working with you since we way back when with a play called Film Society, which we did at the Los Angeles Theater Center back in the 80s or early 80s. But are there any features that come to mind or characteristics of the Ojai Playwrights experience that brings you back?
Yes, it's the incredible comity and communality and confluence of playwrights together with their directors, with the dramaturgs in that first week in particular, where we all get together in the library. And the discussions are amongst peers who care deeply about each other and the process. And it's a place that's incredibly, remarkably so free of ego. There is something about Ojai itself. It brings a kind of magic to it, a kind of great calm, a grace. Before I came, the late beloved Terrence McNally told me what a wonderful place Ojai was, what an important place it had been for him. Terrence, someone I love very much and trust, but I found it to be such a singular experience in that the dialogue about our work was all about not hearing oneself speak, but about a probing, questioning, egoless desire to help the other playwrights or help one another and respond honestly. It's a very rare thing in that it's less structured than other playwright summer conferences in a sense, though it is structured, but there's something about the gatherings that are really joyous in those California mountains.
So sadly, because of the pandemic, we have not been able to assemble, but we wanted to keep the work alive that you just described, serving playwrights in them fulfilling their vision for their work, their play. And it's all, what's great about Ojai, and you particularly, is it's playwrights that are caring and daring to talk about the world we live in, which poses many, many challenges today. So we started this program called the Foundry Project, where you are in residence with 7 other playwrights for close to 3 months. So what attracted you to the Foundry Project, and how has it been going?
I was, resigned to the reality of this moment wherein we're all somewhat on spaceships with our own little crew around us in a kind of virtual version of outer space, and coming together with these readings, which are much like the ones I described in the library at Ojai, has been grounding and a surprise, because lo and behold, it turns out that it's not about the space you're in, it's about the space you make. And when you offered me a slot, and I had the beginnings of a new play, of course I didn't quite see that it would create bonds that quickly, but I found myself instantly drawn to the other participants and their work. Zoom did not separate us. Zoom brought us together, which was extraordinary to me, especially in a moment where there's not just separation, literally, but the country is so filled with tension and rage and anxiety, rightly so. These sessions of discussing work have been a balm.
This program that we are in with Robbie right now, the Foundry Project, this particular aspect of it is called Foundry Talks, and we'll be doing more of these with each of the playwrights that are in the Foundry Project. So please keep an eye out for those. But let me finally, Robbie, tell us a little bit about the play that you are working on right now in the Foundry Project.
You know, there are plays that live in the world, I think, before COVID and before Trump, and there are plays that live after and during. And I've had a real kind of soul searching. I was about to start rehearsal in the fall with a new play that we, I think, did a reading of last summer. But that's not happening. A play called Faraway Friends. And I found myself relieved because it lives in a world before the one we're in now. I started writing a piece called I'll Be Seeing You, about an older woman of some privilege, but not wealthy, waiting on hold on a pharmacy during lockdown, trying to get her psych meds. And the playwright that most made sense to me right now was Samuel Beckett. So I started this play about a woman on hold on an endless cycle. And I guess I was thinking about Krapp's Last Tape, but it takes place during the recent protests in Los Angeles that led to lockdowns on top of lockdowns. And I'm in midway through that, working with you, and finding the surreal truth of, at the moment for me, white disbelief, I think. The disbelief of privilege, the disbelief in the actual that's really happening. Of course, the woman is somewhat mentally ill, but still, I've encountered a kind of incredulity in spaces I have access to, especially during the period when LA was shut down by protesters who were labeled as rioters. So the play's about that. I heard a lot of people saying, we didn't do it. Why are they marching through our spaces? We didn't do it. But in fact, we all did. And this is not to spread liberal white guilt, but those of us who have been able to have not flexed the muscles we forgot we had. The muscles of outrage and of empathy. So the play lives in a discovery of of our culpability and our fragility and our linked trauma. That's the play called I'll Be Seeing You, because that's the whole music is I'll Be Seeing You. And it keeps going and going and going and going.
Well, we
Like I just did.
yeah, no, you didn't. We thank you for sharing the play with us, and we're privileged to be developing it with you. We'll hear from Robbie again in this series, probably after the series is done, and Robbie can report on how the results of the work and how the process worked for him. And thank you all for joining us, and look forward to our next conversation that will be with playwright Luis Alfaro.
I just want to say I'm very, very grateful to you and to OHI, the board, etc., for taking this on and reminding all of us that theater is community, theater is light, and the work we all do together finds its way into the world, into the bigger world. And if not for people like you and the people who help fund OHI, this would not happen, you know. And it's something I take very seriously, and I'm so glad I have. It's a light that you guys have kept on. So thank you.
Well, we are at a major critical juncture in the experiment that is America and the experiment that is our democracy. And I think I feel that part of the essential workers and work are people like yourself and your colleagues in the Foundry Project, who are attempting to imagine who we will be, who we want to be, and who we must be as citizens and as a country moving forward. So I thank you, and I thank the other playwrights, and we'll be talking to you again soon. Thank you very much.
Peace.
Peace.
Don't forget to vote.
Yeah, vote.